Assalamu alaikum friends, my name is Muhammad Hamad and I am from Pakistan, and this is the third video of the EJPT review series. In the first video, I have discussed everything you need to know about the EJPT exam, starting from what that exam is, its pricing structure, its comparison with the various other certifications, and where you can prepare for this certification. And in the second video, I discussed with you my exam preparation journey. Like I have got the 6 months to prepare for it and how I prepared it for within only 1 month, I guess. So do check out those videos because those are also important. And this is the one of most important video. And why is that? Because in this video, I'm going to share the things that happened to me during exam. Okay, so this video is totally about what you are going to uh, like get during the exam, what are the questions, how you need to solve them. Okay, so this is all the things, technical details about the exams. Okay, so stay tuned with me. So starting with when I started the exam, you do not need to or have to schedule it. You can start it anytime you want to, but just clicking the start exam button. And when you click the start exam button, you are redirected to another window in which they are showing you the 35 questions in total. Okay, some of them or most of them are MCQ questions, but obviously you have to perform the things and find out the answer, and then you can select the appropriate answer. So also there are some flag based questions. I think 3 to 4 questions are flag based and they are the dynamic exam. So that means you can only submit them once, and once like they will be marked as like whenever you paste them in the input field, okay, it will be checked automatically in your VM the current state of that flag. So that's why it is called as the dynamic exam. And some of them are the concept based. There are only 2 concept based questions. There were only 2 concept based questions in my time, and I can't say that how much concept based question will you get, in which you don't have to perform anything. You just need to know about the concept. Internet is available. You can search online. And those 2 questions are the easiest one, because even if you don't know, you can search out on the internet and can directly answer them. Along with the 35 questions, you get the in-browser based the Kali Linux machine. Okay, and that is actually connected with a DMZ network. Okay, and that DMZ network is in turn connected to an internal network. So that means now your journey starts of 48 hours. You need to perform all the pen testing, all the assessments, and then you need to answer those questions that you are looking at. So it's not like that you have to give the answer to first question and then you can proceed further. You can check all 35 questions straight away and see what fits best for you, what you want to attempt first, and what you want to attempt after that. And also there is an option to mark that mark the questions which you have not completed. So after you are done with the others, so you don't forget about those. Okay, so you can just see what are the markers which are remaining. So you can directly go to those markers and try answering those. So this is brief introduction about the exam. Okay, so now let's start the video and let me tell you in detail about the exam. Okay, so let's start with it. And yes, there is one video still remaining, which is about the FAQs and the post-exam analysis. Okay, so do watch that video as well. And let me know in the comment if this video was helpful for you. Okay, and share your exam journey with me as well. Thank you very much. With a total exam duration of 48 hours or 2 days, I needed 2 consecutive free days to fully dedicate myself to challenge ahead. It just so happened that the Eid holidays, a significant religious event for Muslims occurring once a year, were about to commence. Eid itself was scheduled for June 29th, but on the 28th, I completely forgot about the festival and unknowingly began my exam at 10:43 a.m. Now let's discuss the initial impression of the EJPT exam. Upon clicking the Start Exam button, a window appeared displaying 35 questions. I had the option to navigate between these questions and pin any of them for later reference. I was granted access to browser-based Kali Linux machine, which served as a primary tool for conducting the penetration testing. To pass the exam, I needed to achieve a minimum of 70% overall with passing marks in individual sections as well. Out of 35 questions, 33 of them required practical work, while the remaining 2 were concept-based. The majority of the questions were multiple choice, some required filling the blanks, and 2 questions demanded the submission of a flag. These flags were dynamic and changed based on specific lab conditions, making it a truly dynamic exam. It's important to note that flag-based questions are non-editable and must be submitted once to be considered. So after approximately 3 hours into the exam, I suddenly had a reality check, the realization that Eid was the next day. The realization urged me to pick up the pace, but by the point I had only completed 5 questions and they seemed pretty straightforward. I didn't harbor high hopes at that moment. Additionally, I needed to make preparations for the festival, so I took a 2 hours break to go to the market. My biggest nightmare during the exam was the fact that the questions are divided into 4 subsections and it was compulsory to pass each section individually. Unfortunately, there was no indication as to which question belonged to which section. Even if I had completed most of the question and surpassed the 70% passing criteria, the individual section passing requirement haunted me. This is where I would strongly recommend INE to provide information about the question that which one falls under which section. Now, let's briefly discuss my strategy. Consider this network as an example provided by INE in their guideline, which we'll use to explain the strategy. The Kali Linux machine provided will be a part of DMZ with one machine connected to an internal network that you'll need to pivot. Don't worry about it now. Step 0. Taking organized note was crucial for success. I used a note-taking software called Cherry Tree to document my progress. It helped me keep track of each pen testing step and ensured I didn't forget any important detail. The exam is quite lengthy and it's impossible to rely solely on the memory or taking the notes in unorganized form. So I highly recommend to use the Cherry Tree. So maintaining detailed record was particularly essential since the exam spanned a significant duration. So here you can see an example of my tree structure which I followed. Feel free to follow this format if it suits you. So first of all, from the INE, copy all the questions and paste in questions tree. Thus, you will not have to move to and fro in the INE website and you will have on one screen all your questions. Step 1. Start with the live host discovery. The first step involved discovering live hosts within the provided DMZ. To save time, avoid port scanning at this time and use the -SN switch at this moment. To disable it, the following AWK command filters the response from Nmap and saves the output of the live IPs in the live host.txt file. Now, like this, in the Cherry Tree, you can create the nodes like this with the IP addresses that you have found in live host discovery like 1.50, 1.55. As the subnet is same, so I only use the last octet to name my Cherry Tree nodes. Step 2. All TCP port scans. Before proceeding to this step, make sure you have a file populated with IP addresses of the live host. Perform an all port TCP scan using -p- switch on each live IP and increase the speed of Nmap with -T5. For faster results, use the following command, this one. And this will use the list of the IP addresses from the live host.txt file. This command will provide a list of all open ports on the live targets in the DMZ. Make sure to not perform service scan or aggressive scan until this point, otherwise it will take a long time. I didn't do the UDP scan, but there might be some open UDP ports as well, so make sure to do that as well. Step 3. Service and version scan. Until now, you will have the open ports, these ones. Okay, so in this step, provide only the open ports to the Nmap for aggressive scanning and variant scanning. Nmap will initiate services, fingerprint, and default script scan on the target ports using the -A, revealing a substantial amount of information. At this point, you will likely have answers to some of the questions. some of the information gathering questions actually. For example, you may know the OS or kernel version of an IP address or the number of hosts running specific service like SSH. Make sure to answer those questions accordingly. I expect that there should be 5 or 6 total machines and half of them would be Linux and others would be Windows. NetBIOS name. Rename all nodes of IP addresses and add the NetBIOS name to them, which I hope so you will figure out after the last step. This is important because some questions may refer to NetBIOS name instead of IP address. For example, if machine IP is this one and its NetBIOS name is this one, edit the node name as 42-WinServer01 like this in the cherry tree, 50-WinServer.01. Okay. Step 5. In this step, try to map each question out of 35 questions to the machine it is related to. Create a questions tab under each machine node. Questions tab under each machine node and write those questions there. This will help you stay focused on what you need to find in each specific machine. Step 6. Question analysis and target enumeration. Focus on analyzing the questions and perform targeted enumeration instead of random enumeration of all the services. Target only the appropriate services or the port number mentioned in the question and leave the rest unexplored. For example, if the question asks for finding a vulnerability in web app, there is no need to enumerate the other services as well. At this step, you will have a specific question in mind to solve and a corresponding port number you believe will provide the answer. Refer back to the cherry tree document which you have created during the preparation of the EJBT like this to see how you can enumerate that service. For example, if you have selected the service as Samba from the INE preparation or training material, these are the things that they have taught us. For example, if you have selected Samba as the service for enumeration, run the Nmap, Metasploit, NMB lookup, SMB client, SMB map, and other tools under the subtree of the Samba service. This step will also reveal answers to additional questions which should be answered at this point. Brute forcing. Brute forcing or credential harvesting is a major focus of this exam. You must know how to use tools like Hydra, SMB login, Metasploit, and Burpsuit to find credentials. Some questions may simply ask for a password for a specific user, while others may be required to penetrate a system and find the flag. Selecting the right word list is very important, and it is very challenging as well due to the numerous options available in the Kali Linux. To guide you, I found success with using these lists used by Alexis Ahmad and Josh Mason in the penetration testing student course. So try with these first. If you don't find the answer, you then go for the rest of the word list. So exam tip, if MCQ is related to brute force, then don't brute force using Kali Linux word list and create a word list with those 4 options only and use that word list to brute force the target. Step 9, RDP to targets. Believe me, you'll thank me for this later. At this point, if you have some credentials to some machine, just see the Nmap result of the machine and confirm if target has port 3389 open. And in the service version, it will be written like this, ms-wbt-server. If it is open, this is our remote desktop port. Okay, so Nmap results might name the service as ms-wbt-server. But this is a remote desktop port. So use this command, this one, xfree RDP, to provide the username and password to log into that remote port. RDP can help you in many questions in many ways. Some of them are to find the internal network. Okay, once you will have the remote desktop of some specific machine, you can use the ipconfig command or ifconfig command to find out if it has more than 1 interfaces. Then it can also help you find out if there are some flags hidden on the target. To manually explore the web directories without need of web servers, RDP can also help you in that. So all restrictions of the web server would be bypassed. If you have or have not credentials, make sure to check SMB shares using SMB map or SMB client and enum for Linux. It is possible that some shares contain some file which contain some important information. Keep in mind that some shares are not directly displayed and you have to check those by explicitly requesting to connect with those, like in here. Step 11. Anonymous sessions into FTP or SSH lets you log into these services without need of valid credentials. And Nmap even has a script ftp-anon to test if the target allows anonymous connection. If allowed, use FTP utility in Kali to log in. Use following command for that. FTP, then the IP address. The username will always be anonymous and no password is required. If you find something, use get command to download that file on your local system. Hidden web directories, robot.txt, sitemap.xml, and view source. While enumerating web applications, some files are intentionally kept hidden by web developer, so you need to find them out using GoBuster or Dirbuster. The commands are very simple. You can use Dirbuster like this, and GoBuster with directory enumeration mode, you need to provide the URL, then the word list only. Don't forget to view the source functionality to review HTML source code in browser. The answer to one of my questions was present there, so it is a necessary thing to do. There would be some questions related to web application in which you need to have the access to backend database. You can try SQL map to find the vulnerabilities on various forms like login or sign up form. In my case, I didn't succeeded finding that out. Fortunately, I found another way to find out the answer of the same thing. Obviously, I won't discuss my question, but I will share the related example. Let's say they asked you in an MCQ that how many of the following 4 users exist on the respective website. You tried SQL injection but failed. Now, what to do? Try creating a new account with all those usernames. It might happen that website gives you an error on username that this user already exists. So try all 4 possible options of the MCQ and you might have an answer to your question. Directory indexing or WebDAV enabled. The WebDAV protocol provides a framework for users to create, change, and move documents on server. If WebDAV is running on target machine, first check if it is secured by some authentication mechanism or not. Then use DAVTest tool to check authentication and which file types are allowed to upload on the target. You can check the file types using this mechanism. If the target is secure and you have the credential, use DAVTest again to check which file types can be uploaded, like this. And in this step, if target supports uploading, then you have 2 options. Create a web shell using MSF Venom and upload using Cadaver, or use MSF module exploit/windows/iis/iis webdev upload ESP to get a reverse shell or meterpreter. And this is how you will get the meterpreter. If target has already web shell present but no way to upload file, and you have found that in result of directory enumeration using GoBuster, then you have to use HTS server module of Metasploit to get the meterpreter. The highlighted URL once accessed from our target machine using command below. Okay, you need to paste this command to the command injection option from the web server. Internal network discovery. Whenever you get access to any target machine, must check its network information to find out how many network interfaces it has. If there are more than one available interface, check if other network interfaces has an IP address. If yes, it means this target is further connected to another network or internal network. As we are in the DMZ and can't use Nmap to scan internal subnets, so a static route is required to be added to a target machine having 2 network interfaces. For this reason, we need to use auto route feature in my MSF console. Use the following command for that with network address of internal network. Right after you have added the route, now it's time to pivot to an internal network and scan it to discover live host and services they are running from our Kali machine. The following Metasploit module would serve the purpose. Let's say port 22 is open on the target, which we have identified in last step, and we want to perform the service variant scan and enumeration. But that port is again not accessible directly, so we need to forward the remote port to the local port. So this is the remote port and we need to forward it to the local port. And then only we will be able to access those services directly on our local machine and enumerate them. To forward a port, this procedure is required. You can use the port forward command for that. Now, port 80 would be accessible directly from our local port 1234. Sorry, this one. 1234 is the local port and the remote port is 80. And we can run nmap directly on this and perform an open port enumeration of the machine, which is part of internal network. And best of luck for the exam, and comment down below if you need some more details as well. And before ending this video, let me show you my cherry tree document. So here you can see my cherry tree document. I am not going to open any of the sub node to abide the privacy policy of INE. Okay, so you see I have the questions tab where I had all the 35 questions in here. After that, I have the information gathering I have performed. I saved that, all of that in here. Then the IP addresses I have found, I have shared their IP addresses and used only the last octet as a main parents tree node, okay, of like this. Then I use the NetBIOS name with each of them, and I have added a question sub tab also in here. So out of these 35 questions, for example, let's say I feel question number 3, 4, and 7 relates to this machine. So I have added those questions in here. And in this way, I have added rest of the questions to each of the related machine. So after that, it gives you a chance that perform your working on one single machine and try answering the questions related to that in the questions tab. Once I have answered all those questions in some specific machine, I added another thing dash done in the end to specify, to actually indicate myself that I have been done through these machines. And then I perform my working on rest of the machine. So I have told you already that if in case, for example, in this, the questions are related to only SSH and HTTP, forget about the enumeration of other services like FTP or the remote desktop and like that. If you think you won't be able to find the answer directly from those protocols or services, then I will recommend to check others services as well. Might be there is some interesting information in the other services. Otherwise, no need to perform the detailed enumeration on that. If you want to see about my notes, you can see I have tools, services, and miscellaneous in here. So inside tools, I have every command that they have explained in the penetration testing student learning path. So I knew during my exam that I don't have to go through my notes again or will have to search for the internet again. If I would try to log into any SQL server, I will directly be using this. Okay, if I need to know about any interpreter command, I can just go to this section. As far as the services are concerned, okay, for example, I want to perform the RDP and I need to use the Xfree RDP. So I had the command with me. I knew about the Hydra command to use. I knew about how can I do that using the MSF. Okay, let me show you. So this mechanism, using these modules, I knew that how I need to proceed during the exam. Also, I have saved here network ports which are related to the services. So by just looking at the port number, I knew that this port is related to WinRM. Okay, and then I can go to the WinRM and I can see what they have taught me during the penetration testing student learning path, that what kind of Metasploit modules I need to run against the WinRM, okay, to find out the relevant information. Okay, so also I have saved something like this to that when I will be required to escalate my privileges, how I am going to do that. So I have saved all those things like this in here as well. MSF, then I've gained the interpreter, then these are the processes to escalate my privileges. So I have saved all of those things here. Okay, so you see everything is organized, the notes are organized. So that's why I was able to pass this in first attempt. So I would like to restate this, that this is not, you can say that, a piece of cake exam. So you will find yourself like stuck at somewhere and not finding the answering of anything. So then I will recommend that take a break, shut down your laptop, go somewhere, come after 2 hours, and you will see that again some progress will start to happen. I've told you that I'm not going to share these things with you, okay, but I can perform a personalized training for you to pass the CGPT exam, okay. I do provide the consultation. If you go to my Fiverr ID, let me show you the Fiverr ID as well. That where you can contact me. So this is my Fiverr ID, okay. So you will write fiverr.com/I_Hamad. Let me write in here _Hamad and press enter. And this is where you are going to find me out, okay. And until now, you can see that the people are, all of the people have given me the 5 stars, and I'm just teaching to them. I'm just giving the consultations, helping them with their various certification exam. So I recommend you to reach me out on the Fiverr, and I can guide you for your exam so that you don't waste your time and money, and focus your efforts on the right things before the exam, okay. So do reach me out, and also look at my reviews, okay. It will also let you know about more about me, okay. Also, I have I am a certified ethical hacker. So in that, also you need to you can connect with me, so I can teach you about the certified ethical hacker exam, and I have some notes available as well in here. And also I have a review of certified ethical hacker on my this same channel. You can also find out for that, okay. So I wish you best of luck for your exam journey, and if you will have some question, you can comment down below, or you can reach me out on Fiverr. Thank you very much.